Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see you.
Okay, great. So welcome everyone, and apologies for distraction. I feel the
Yes,
internet
I can
is not
see.
helping me
I
this
can
intro.
see.
Yeah. So Wikidata is an editable central storage for structured and linked data on a wiki under a free license. So those of us who know what Wikidata is, you may be familiar with this definition of Wikidata. And I'm just going to do a rundown. In short, Wikidata, this was when Wikidata was 3 years. Wikidata is now 8 years. And then structured data. Why do we say Wikidata is a structured data? We have these three important things when we are working on statements, we have items, we have properties, we have values. When I go to the demonstration, you see all these things in real life. So in this, can you unmute yourself? So we can move with the number we have now. So with items, it talks about any topic. When we talk about Wikidata items, it can be a Wikipedia article, a thing, a person, a place, or concept. That is what we mean by items. And then for property, a property is a specific single kind of data relevant to this item. So items goes with properties. So where you see item, the next thing that will follow would be properties. We'll talk about it, so don't worry. For example, property can be the height. So the height of a mountain or mountains, capital of countries, gender for humans. So in this case, humans are items, gender is the property, capital is the property, and then country is the item, mountain is the item, height is the property. And then we have the third one, which is values. Values is either a reference or another item. So the capital of Germany, for example, is Berlin. Somebody is not muted. Can you mute yourself if you are not talking? Is it Khadija or Alassane? If you are not talking, please, or if there's noise at your background, please mute yourself. Yeah. So if you can see my screen, as I said, we are now on values. I just want to run this quick. I'll send the slides to you to have a proper look. And when I go to demonstration, I usually like to do the demonstration so you can see it in real life. I am not, um, I'm not used to going through slides. I like practical hands-on. So for items and properties, this is a form. We are talking about a form. An example of a form, like when you are filling forms online, normally the name will be the property. When we talk about city, as I said, the value for city will be the town, the city itself. And then this is just to describe property and values. This is just to describe properties and values. So an item is described by a series of statements, each asserting a single datum or fact about it, while a property is a specific kind of information, like a field in a form, as we can see in this form, and it's used to describe what the data means. So the property, as I said, qualifies the item. So when we talk about a name of a person, and then the property that will qualify that or person can be a human, male or female. So the property will be either a female or a male. Yeah, so that is the difference between items and properties. Properties qualifies items. An example, an item about a country would have statement about the following properties. So when you talk about, as I said, country, places, people are all items on Wikidata. Unlike Wikipedia, we call them articles, but on Wikidata, we call them items. So that's why many at times I mention Wikidata items. That is the reason. And so, yeah, an item about a country would, let me see if someone's trying to join the call. Yeah, okay. So an item about a country would have statement about the following properties. the population of the country, the land area, the official languages, the border. So when you think about a country, these are some of the things that we'll be looking at, and these are the things that we call properties. They qualify the item, a country. So in that order, it will be very clearer when I get to the demonstration. So example, an item about a person would have statements about the name of the person. So unlike the country that has like the population, the capital, for an item about a person would have the name of the person, the date of birth or date of death, the place of birth or place of death, the citizenship, country, languages spoken, religion, father, mother. So these are properties that qualifies a person. So to describe an item about a person, all these things are the things that you'll be looking at. There are so many things you can add. It continues like that: place of education, academic degree, academic major. All these things are properties that we use to qualify an item of a person. And then we move next to the statement. Statement. So here you see an example of a full statement. As I said, for earth, you have the property of the highest point, and then the value. As I said, I mentioned items, properties. Now we are seeing the value. The value of the highest point on earth is what? Mount Everest. The value of the so Mount Everest, you see above sea level. And then we also have another example about Earth, the deepest point. And then, so these are just this a similar example. Another way, so let's look at it from this angle as well. Another way of looking at it, you can look at it in this way too. The highest point, Mount Everest, the deepest point, which is what Challenger Deep. All these things, I would like to skip them. They are going to make you confused a little. So things that we use to describe Wikidata items. Unlike Wikipedia, we just have the name of the person. Wikidata, we have something we call Q numbers. So for every item on Wikidata has Q numbers, which is qualifiers. And the Q number, there's a meaning for the Q. We'll talk about that later. So everywhere you see Wikidata item, you should see Q and some numbers. The reason is that Wikidata is machine friendly, and we all know how machine loves numbers, unlike Wikipedia, which is more like a text based. So the Q makes it unique, just like our national ID cards or passport numbers that has unique numbers. So when you are looking for somebody like me, if you search my name, you may see like several Shahad Sadiqs, maybe even from Tamale. But if you use my passport number or my ID number, you'll be able to see the exact Sadiq you are looking for. So that is the power of Wikidata. It makes it very easy, as I said in the description. It connects other data, so it links structured data. So for Wikidata, if you want, the machine knows that Q2 is Earth. So Q2 means Earth. Anywhere you type Q2 on Wikidata, it means you are referring to Earth. The highest point has a property, as I said, P6, P means property, 610. So anywhere you see P610, that's the property of the highest point of the Earth. And then Mount Everest, the number, the unique number for Mount Everest, which is like the value. So we have Earth as what? Item, highest point, property, Mount Everest, the value. So the value of the highest point on Earth is Mount Everest. So where you see Q513, it means you are referring to Mount Everest. So this is quite basic. Yeah, so I'm going to skip this. Labels, so we are talking about numbers. Why numbers? Labels are ambiguous and sometimes redundant. So as I said, there's a city in England called London. There's a city in Canada, London. London is also a name of a person, family name, and it's even a personal name. London is the name of a movie. London is the name of a hotel. So how would you differentiate which London you are referring to? So for Wikidata, London in this context with the Q number makes it very easy to know that this London is referring to the capital of England, or this London is referring to the football player in United States of America, which is the guy, what's the name, London. Yeah, it will be very difficult for you to structure data like this. That is why we say Wikidata is more powerful than Wikipedia, and it helps statistics. In statistics, it helps data analysts to be able to query data. With time, we'll go deeper into how you can query data with just a simple statement to collect so many data at a go. And then for another unique thing, Wikipedia has over 300 languages, while Wikidata has just one language neutral. You don't need to speak English. Wikidata doesn't have English version, tree version, or whatever version. Wikidata is language neutral. So it talks about labels being ambiguous. Second, we talked about language neutral for Wikidata. For Wikipedia, as I said, we have Dagbani Tree, Wikipedia, Hausa, about 300 languages. It's very difficult for you to link data together. But for Wikidata, wherever you are looking for the information is just the same thing. The language is neutral. And then I said earlier that robots love numbers. So Wikidata is robot friendly. That is why it's more powerful. And then if you have any questions so far, please let me know before we go dive deeper into the hands-on session. Any question at this point? This is the introduction to Wikidata for absolute beginners. I'll do a demonstration before we end this call, and an easier way of how you can add. Okay, Yunus, you are on the floor now. I'm not sure if the network is bad at your end or my end. So I can hardly hear you. Okay, so when you cut your question, but can anyone hear me? I cannot hear you talk. I don't know if it is from me or at his end. So let me know if you can hear me, Khadija and Awal. You can say yes, then I proceed. Come back with your question. That would be great. Can you hear me? Have I frozen?
Yes, no, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right. You can go on with your question now. I think you were
in allocating figures to the Qs and to the Ps. Are you the one supposed to allocate every data you are inputting with the Qs and the Ps, or the system itself to do it for you? I'm asking this because you may not know where, for instance, the Qs
yes,
have
I get your
into.
question. No. Yes. That is very true. I got your question. I was actually expecting a question like this. So you don't type anything. If you go on Wikidata and you type, for example, okay, maybe can, so if you go to Wikidata and you type, for example, Momono Yunus, then you go to create an item. Once you start with the label, the name of the label, and then the description at the beginning of your item, I'll show you how to create an item from scratch. It automatically it generates the number by itself automatically. You don't need to add any number. It will just come with the Q, and then the numbers follows like that. So you don't type any number, you don't need to type anything. I don't know if that has answered your question. The properties as well, you don't type anything. But for the properties, generally, we know that a human being has a unique property. So when you are describing somebody with a property of human being, there's property to that, but you don't need to struggle like instance of human, then the property with
Thank you.
code will come. So that is how we get the. Okay, great. So any more question before I move next? I really want us to get the thing quick. I like hands-on than tutorials. Okay. Let's explore Wikidata. So to explore that Wikidata.org, as you can see, Wikidata items for some notable Ghanaian women. And here too, if you can see this page, Art and Feminism Wikidata event, if you can see my page, let me know. Instead of going directly to the website, I'll just come and click a random item. So we created this for Zongo women. This is the Wikipedia article of the prescriptions about them. So Jamila Abdullahi, as it says Jamila Abdullahi is a blogger, Antimuni, food vendor, Aisha, Aisha, and then Sharifa also has sorry. Sorry. And so I'm just one item right now. Apologies for the distraction. Before you create, for the purpose of them from scratch, I'm adding some few more people. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys? Yeah, okay. So
oh,
if you
yeah.
can hear me.
Sorry, yeah, sorry. I can hear you. I can hear you. I was
Okay.
still engaging with somebody else.
Okay. So for new total newbies, if you are going to create a new Wikidata item from scratch, as I said, I'm trying to create one for Momono Yunus. I first of all need to type it in the search engine, search bar. If it doesn't exist, then I click create. So I'll search it like this. If I search and it opens. So first of all, you need to search to know whether. Hello.
Yeah, so I hope this meeting will end in the next 6 minutes or 4 minutes.
Yes, I know you have a call. I know. So yeah. I'll wrap it up. I know.
All right.
Okay. So Momone, why Yunus creating a Wikidata item for you? I can simply come and create a new item here by going here.
Hi.
Or I search. When I search, and
Hello.
then when I search. Hello, who is talking? Is it Khadija?
Yes, I can't see the screen. The only thing I'm saying is let's go explore Wikidata.
Oh, okay. Then let me share. Sorry. Let me reshare my screen. I think I was sharing the wrong page. Yeah, I think it's here. Okay. So we have few minutes to end this call. The rest of the training, I will send a recording of it, but we should be able to create an item before we end this call. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was talking about creating a new item. And as I said, you go to www.wikidata.org. Then you search the name of the what you are looking for. You search here, and then you type. So I'm creating it for moon units. Once I search it in the search bar, then I search like this. If it doesn't show up, you see there's no results for this create a new item. Then I click on create. Once I click on create, so our community has another call at 10. So I'm going to, when it's 10 o'clock, I'm going to disconnect here and share a different link for you all to join again for the remaining part of the training. So please bear with me. When it's 10 o'clock, I'll end this, then I'll send the new URL to the group. So as I type the name of Moon Yunus, then I type the label, it shows English. So the label is, the language is English, the label is Moon Yunus, description is what? A Ghanaian journalist. A Ghanaian journalist from Tamale. So, Ghanaian journalist from Tamale. So
Hello, Sadiq.
once I type it, if there's Elias,
Hello,
yeah,
Sadiq.
hello, can you hear me? Hi,
Hello, Sadiq.
I can hear you. Please go on. I can hear you. Please go on. So, okay, so if you can hear me, you just go to create item. Create item. Yeah, so I've created with Momono Yirifa Yunus. Then I can add statements about instance of human. Then I type human. Then I publish. I want to add a statement, sex or gender. So I'm ending this call right now. Then we'll connect on Google Hangouts. So please disconnect in this minute, and then I'll send a link to the group chat, and all of you can join again for the remaining part of the trip. So thank you so much for joining. I will see you in the next 2 minutes. So please pick, I will send the link right now to our WhatsApp group, then we'll continue with the training. So see you later. Bye.